let's talk about college decisions. Okay, wait, let me turn this. Okay, all right. Yes, let's talk about college decisions. All right, so I know that right now is probably a very stressful time for basically everyone, everywhere. But I know that, right now, especially for a lot of you high school seniors, this time is even more stressful because your college decisions are coming out. Now, I know exactly what you guys are experiencing because I was there literally a year ago, minus like 2 days. I think my big day was March 28th. But either way, regardless, I was in your shoes an entire year ago, and if there's one thing that this whole coronavirus pandemic has shown me is that there are a lot less important things than school and grades. So just keep that in mind as you go throughout these next few days. With that said, I do want to talk about kind of the thought process that you might want to consider going into this whole, opening your college decisions. I think I'm kind of orienting this video more towards what I feel like would have been really beneficial to me when I was opening mine, and just some helpful advice that I learned after opening my decisions. And so I thought I would share that, pass it forward to the high school seniors out there right now. But yeah, we're just gonna break it down into 3 categories: before you open your letter, when you open your letter, and after you open your letter. Now, before you do open up your letter, there are a few things that you want to take into consideration, and I think one of those important ones would be where you open your letter. I know right now that's a little harder with the whole pandemic and social distancing going on. I really advise everyone to not go to your friend's house and open it with them. Try to stay at home if you can. But in terms of at your home itself, you can either do it in your kitchen with your family around you, or if you want, do it in your room entirely alone. That's completely fine. Just realize that this has been the moment that you've been working for. You've put in a ton of work, and so ultimately it should be your moment, so you should decide how to take it all in. So next, what you want to think about is the order that you open your decisions in, if you do have multiple in these next few days. I know for some people that they structured it, from their school that they thought they would be the least likely to get into all the way to the school that they thought they were most likely to get into. I know a few of my friends actually did that exact order and ended up finding out that they got into Princeton, which was one of their least likely. So you never know. For me, I opened it in the order of what schools I wanted to get into, and so that's why Princeton was my top choice out of the 3 that I was opening in that day, and so I saved that one for last. But it's entirely up to you. Those are just some suggestions. Honestly, some people don't even really care. It's just whatever pops up first, so completely up to you. Now, the last thing you want to consider before opening your letter is just how you want to tell people. I guess before you could kind of just, drive over to your friend's place and announce, "Woo, I got into wherever." But now that's a little harder. I have a few friends who actually, when they opened their letters, they did it in their room alone, without their parents, without their family, and when they found out all the schools that they got into or rejected from, they wrote it on a sticky note, went downstairs, and basically stuck it to the refrigerator. So you can do it that route, whatever you feel most comfortable with. But yeah, just some suggestions. Now is when you actually open the decision itself. So the first thing is, there's not really any good way to prepare for it. Now, one of the mindsets that I think I had myself while going in, and that I kind of advise you to have as well, is hope for the best but prepare for the worst. Now, that doesn't mean expect the worst, but that means prepare yourself mentally and emotionally for the worst possible outcome, because to be honest, that is definitely a possibility. In this whole college admissions process, your stats, your essays, your extracurriculars, all that stuff can only get you so far, and at the end of the day, there is some luck involved with the whole application process. So there are going to be really qualified people who don't get into top universities, but that shouldn't discourage you from opening your letters or getting your decisions. At the end of the day, hope for the best but prepare for the worst. If it makes it any better, I will say that the first rejection does make the other rejections a bit easier. For me personally, that was my Stanford letter in December, and so I remember when I opened it, I was definitely sad for a few hours, if not a few days. But the thing is, it almost helped me actually become more motivated to write my college essays, because I still had to finish writing my regular decision ones. I know if you're watching this right now, that you've definitely already submitted yours, but if you're, a junior right now or even an underclassman, just keep that in mind if you are watching this ahead of time. So finally, after you open all your letters, the first thing there is to do is, well, celebrate. Obviously, you've worked so hard for this, so take some time, be with your family, and be happy for yourself. Be proud of yourself and the work that you put in, because ultimately, in the end, this is what you work towards and this is what you deserve. So be happy and have this be your moment. If you want, you can be like Michael Scott from The Office and prepare for both outcomes, and hopefully it is the happier outcome for you.
Happy, 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 happy.
Now, with that said, also be mindful of your friends at this time. Not everyone will be getting good news in these next few days, and not everyone will be getting bad news in these next few days. Now, as you go on and post on social media and send all your messages in your group chats, just kind of be mindful of your friends. Not everyone is going to be in the same position that you're in, and so I think a good way to think about it is imagine yourself in their position if they didn't get good news, and just think about how it must feel for them. And just keep that in mind as you go announcing your news. I'm not saying dampen the mood, don't be happy for yourself, but just be mindful of other people. Now, adding on to that, make sure you don't criticize other people. I know that this whole college admission process is toxic enough as it is. So much comparison going around with test scores, extracurriculars, all this other stuff. So at a time like this, it's really easy to criticize other people, especially if someone gets into a school that you applied to and got rejected from. And to be honest, if there's someone who got into a school who you didn't think deserved to be there, well, you don't know how much effort that they put in, how many hours they put in. So just be aware that everyone has their own story, everyone has, their own background. So try not to criticize, especially during this time. So just some parting words before you head off and open your letter, or I guess if you're coming back from opening your letter. The first thing I'd say is record your reaction. I think that was honestly one of the best decisions that I made. I mean, if you see right there, that's me in the Washington Post. So I'm not saying that this will automatically get you into the Washington Post or anything, but it could lead to some cool stuff. And even if you don't post it anywhere, even if you don't post it on social media, YouTube, Twitter, wherever, just have it as a memory for yourself, because I think it is something cool to look back on. I don't know, show your kids, whatever. So even if you don't, have it for other people, at least have it for yourself. Also, just keep in mind that college is what you make of it. So if you do get news that you were not hoping for, just realize that colleges can only do so much to make the college experience for you, and you have to take it the rest of the way there. So if you're hoping for a really good fun time at college, well, that's what you can make of it. Just because you're going to your dream school does not mean that you're gonna automatically have a great time there. And the other way around, even if it was, your complete last pick, that doesn't mean that you're gonna have a terrible time there. College is what you make of it, and I know that's a huge cliche, but it is true. I have some friends who dreamed of getting into Princeton and aren't having an amazing time there. And other people who maybe Princeton wasn't their first choice. I know, hard to believe, we love Princeton, but there are people there who it wasn't their first choice, but they're still making the most of it and still having a great time. So just keep that in mind going forward. Now, this one is super, super cliche, but don't think of any of this as failures, but rather learning opportunities. And so I know that this has probably been a very stressful time, but this is not the end of the world. There are more important things out there that you can worry about, and you still have the rest of your senior year. I know you're probably not spending it the way that you were thinking you would with this whole thing going on, but try to stay positive and just enjoy the remainder of the time that you have, because you won't ever get it back again. So yeah, that's it for this video. If you haven't already, please follow me on Instagram, that'd be great, and good luck with your decisions. Yeah, peace. At the end of the day, this isn't going to be the end of the world. Don't stress about it, and you still have the rest of your senior year to enjoy with your friends. This might be the last time you see them all in the same group, in the same building all together. So try and enjoy it, and have fun. Oh shoot, I just remembered that everyone is on online school because of Corona. We're gonna rewind.